In a vast forest during autumn, beneath a clear blue sky dotted with a few wisps of clouds, the scene was strangely peaceful. The tranquility was abruptly shattered by a scream of, "Ah!" A dark-clad figure was sent flying backward. Immediately after, a fully armored warrior was also struck down, only managing a surprised "ouch" as he flew. While he was still tumbling on the ground, another panicked cry of "Ack!" echoed from afar, where their last comrade, a mage, had also been defeated. The perpetrator of all this finally revealed themselves. It was a monkey in armor, wearing an iron helmet, brandishing a banana that resembled a blade. It let out a soft hee-hee, then burst into maniacal, gleeful laughter, ook-eek-eek-eek-eek, stomping its foot on the ground triumphantly. Amidst the chaos, a single player remained standing, a hooded girl clutching a dagger, her sharp gaze unwavering. The monkey suddenly fell silent, its attention now entirely fixed on the newly appeared figure, signaling the impending battle of wits.
A mischievous giggle, kiki, echoed craftily. A monkey in tattered armor gleefully peeled a banana, intending to throw it to the ground. However, a cold, deathly voice suddenly echoed from behind. The monkey, startled, looked down in confusion, muttering an incomplete "Uki?" From beneath the shadows of his hood, Hyrkan looked up, a wild smile. He slowly spoke, his voice full of menace. "Found you. Hey, now you're dead for sure." Hyrkan swung his sword. The blade, enveloped in a brilliant blue aura, drew a deadly arc in the air, sweeping across the charging armored monkey monster. A piercing swish rang out. The sword's path cut through everything in its way. However, the nimble monkey dodged Hyrkan's attacks. It then leaped to other branches, somersaulting in midair to evade the fatal sweep. Hyrkan frowned as he saw a few targets had escaped. He growled, frustration clear on his face. "Damn it, seriously?" Hyrkan's face darkened, his eyes glinting with annoyance mixed with intense focus. He cursed under his breath. "This guy is really annoying. He's too fast, and the trees are in the way, preventing me from attacking properly." Realizing his old fighting style was ineffective, a bold decision flashed in his mind. If that's the case, resolutely, Hyrkan channeled strength into his legs, stomping hard on the uneven ground before launching himself upward. In midair, a short sword appeared in his hand, glowing with a brilliant blue energy. Without hesitation, Hyrkan swung his sword, drawing a colossal arc of energy that chased the monkey. The monkey monster, leaping through the air, suddenly froze, completely surprised by the unavoidable area of effect attack. The blue glowing blade tore through the air, carrying destructive power straight towards the stunned target.
A deafening clang of metal echoed as the sword, emitting a brilliant blue light, thrust forward. Faced with a sudden attack, the large monkey soldier's eyes widened in horror. But at that very moment, a chilling sensation ran down his spine. The sword had embedded itself into the tree trunk just a handspan away, and the monkey shrieked, "Uki-kiki-ki," in delight and mockery. On the ground, Hyrkan stood tall before it, his hand extended, his voice cold as ice, revealing the entire cruel plan. The sword was just a feint, you bastard. Under Hyrkan's command, the colossal stone golem activated replication mode. Intense blue magical energy surged, engulfing its massive body. With a sky-shattering roar, the golem unleashed a devastating attack. Punches enveloped in blue light rained down incessantly, crushing everything in their path. Trees shattered, rocks scattered amidst the horrific fury. At the epicenter of destruction, the poor armored monkey had no chance to resist, completely submerged by absolute power. Hyrkan lightly landed on a large nearby branch. He stood firm, quietly observing his achievement from above. Below, amidst the rubble, lay the corpse of the armored monkey. A blue system window appeared before him, announcing, "You have obtained the title First Hunter of the Armored Monkey." A satisfied smile appeared on Hyrkan's face. "Excellent," he whispered.
Hyrkan gazed at the skull-shaped trophy, emitting an ethereal blue light in his palm. A cold, confident smile spread across his lips. "It's time to hunt a few more of these," he declared, his eyes gleaming with resolve. Meanwhile, at a completely different location, the atmosphere was quite the opposite. Flashes from numerous professional cameras continuously lit up, creating a dazzling and bustling scene. In the magnificent, opulent Grand Hall, Matador Shev and Shiru were majestically descending the grand red-carpeted staircase. The crowd of reporters jostled, holding up their cameras and shouting excitedly, "Please look over here, and this way too!" Cheers echoed throughout the auditorium. It's Shev of the Red Bulls Guild and Shiru of the Thunder Hunters Guild. Congratulations to both of you for successfully completing the final boss raid of the first chapter. Amidst the sea of people, a reporter quickly pushed to the front, pointing a microphone at Shiru and rapid-firing questions. "Thunder Queen, would you like to share anything?" Shiru, who was smiling and waving, paused briefly, her smile becoming somewhat strained at the unexpected question.
Shiru smiled demurely. "I think we were very fortunate this time," she said with a humble yet firm voice. "We will continue to strive for good results in the future." The moment she finished speaking, the smile on her lips vanished. Her hand in its iron gauntlet subtly tightened and her eyes opened, shining with a cold, calculating glint, an internal shift no one knew about. As they walked together down the grand corridor, Hao Hui happily linked arms with her, her face flushed with admiration. "Sister Shiru is truly the best. I thought we were done for when the last wave of monsters attacked, but then you charged forward alone and defeated that corrupted count." "I just got lucky," Shiru replied calmly, her gaze unwavering. "We wouldn't have been able to do it without the help of the Red Bulls group." However, deep down, her gaze became more resolute than ever, fixed on a single goal: to achieve absolute victory.
In Shiru's mind, Hyrkan's image appeared, wearing a Haho mask and a chilling smile, his entire body radiating an enchanting deep blue energy. She declared, "We need his skills." Back in reality, in the luxurious room, Shiru commanded with a determined tone, "Hao Hui, contact hatch." Hao Hui startled, turning back with an expression clearly showing surprise mixed with annoyance. "What? Why do you need that loser?" Tiringly rubbing her forehead, Shiru suppressed a sigh, her gaze becoming more serious than ever as she explained, "There's something we need to hunt." At the same time, in a desolate forest, a piercing sound rang out as the equipment in Hyrkan's hand shattered into pieces. A system notification appeared directly before his eyes. The durability of this item has reached 0 and it has been destroyed. Standing amidst the ruins of the recently defeated enemy, surrounded by his loyal skeletal army, Hyrkan looked at the fragments in his hand and simply uttered, "Ugh."
Amidst the desolate landscape, Hyrkan frowned, looking at the shattered sword blade in his hand, clear evidence of the fierce battles just fought. "Damn it, so this is the limit. Perhaps it's time to find new equipment," he thought irritably, but then the expression hidden behind his mask fell with worry. "But the problem is, I don't have money for that. It seems I have no other choice but to hunt for gems." With the decision made, his mind turned to a special type of item, monster gems. They were rare gemstones with an extremely low drop rate when defeating monsters. These gems were core materials for crafting equipment, and their value lay in the additional effects they provided, depending on the type of monster that dropped them. For instance, the shimmering green goblin gem could increase agility by 1 point, while the icy blue crystal cluster werewolf gem added a valuable 2 attack points.
Hyrkan mused, an idea suddenly sparking in his mind. The gems dropped by the iron-armored apes are excellent for crafting equipment, he thought to himself. Images of mighty, glittering items appeared, causing the corner of his mouth to subtly curl up in confidence. Hyrkan raised his hand, his voice ringing out with determination, shattering the silence. "All right, starting now, we'll hunt down every last iron-armored ape." A surge of frenzied energy erupted from him. Hyrkan spread his arms wide, his face hidden behind the mask contorting into a wild grin, his tongue excitedly licking his lips. His barbaric laughter echoed through the space, making the entire skeleton army momentarily freeze in awe of their master's extreme bloodlust. 9 hours later. Beneath his hood, Hyrkan's face was now gaunt and pale. His eyes were wide open, filled with utter horror and despair. He muttered dazedly in bitter defeat, "It didn't drop." In the desolate forest, a mountain of monster corpses piled up, creating a horrific sight. Hyrkan looked down impatiently, muttering to himself, "It should have dropped by now." His patience seemed to have run out. He knelt to the ground, eyes wide with obsession, reaching out as if searching for something in vain. The skeleton army stood motionless behind him, silently observing their master. Hyrkan whispered to himself, his voice tinged with madness, "No, maybe just one more. That's right, just one more is enough." "Hey!" A loud shout suddenly rang out, interrupting Hyrkan's thoughts. He flinched and looked up, and the first thing that caught his eye was a pair of crimson-armored boots standing tall right in front of him. From above, a cold voice resonated from behind the sealed helmet of an unfamiliar player. Their entire body was encased in splendid red and black armor, exuding an overwhelming aura. "You must be Haho Mask." Hyrkan was stunned. He subtly pulled down the brim of his hood, revealing part of his mask and his sharp, narrowed eyes. A series of thoughts quickly flashed through his mind. Who is this person? And wearing the expensive fire lizard equipment set no less.
A figure clad in bulky, full-body armor, primarily deep red and jet black, stood menacingly. Hyrkan's eyes, though hidden behind the Hade mask, remained sharp as he analyzed his new opponent. He mused, "The Orc Hero's sword. That means he's at least level 70. Don't tell me he's one of them." A fleeting image of those he wished never to encounter crossed Hyrkan's mind, making the atmosphere heavier. The armored figure stood motionless, his helmet completely obscuring his face, revealing only a menacingly glowing red gem on his forehead. The entire space seemed to freeze for a moment, the silence broken by a deep voice echoing from behind the cold metal. "My name is Kiyote." As soon as he finished speaking, Kiyote let out a roar, then performed an emote characteristic of Super Sentai Gao. Amidst the sun-drenched forest, a sharp clang of metal resounded. It was Kiyote, who had just finished his bizarre emote performance. Kiyote spoke loudly and confidently. "I heard you've become quite popular on YTube lately. That means if I defeat you, I'll become popular too. So I challenge you to an official duel." In response to the grand challenge, there was only silence. Hyrkan, with his hands still in his pockets, simply watched the stranger quietly, completely baffled by what was happening. Just another loser desperate for attention, he thought to himself. His initial confusion quickly gave way to clear annoyance on his face. "I'm already annoyed enough from hunting for that gem endlessly without it dropping, and now some lunatic has to bother me." Without bothering to reply, Hyrkan decisively turned and walked away, his voice cold and curt. "I'm busy. Get lost." Bluntly rejected, Kiyote was stunned for a moment before desperately calling out, "Hey, wait, please, I'm begging you."
Kiyote clenched his fist, his voice pleading, "I'll give you 5,000 gold if you dare to fight me." Silently observing from a distance, Hyrkan's figure was enveloped in a hooded cloak. He secretly sighed. Another attention seeker. However, that enticing offer was like a switch, transforming his initial annoyance into something entirely different. In a flash, amidst the dim light of the battlefield, Hyrkan darted like a ghost, gliding past his skeleton soldiers as if seeking an answer. Before Kiyote could compose himself, Hyrkan was right in front of him. He placed a hand on his opponent's shoulder, pulling him close. Beneath the Hade mask, a wide, sharp, and excited grin appeared. His eyes narrowed with delight. "Welcome, dear guest," Hyrkan whispered, his tone sweetly sarcastic. "I love people like this."